Yo, what's happening, bulls? Let's catch up with the market. I'm going to catch up with the market and film it, and then you can catch up with the market. And we will just quickly share this post so the bulls can see it in the Telegram. And we're going to get into it. We've got a lot to cover. We've got heaps of shit to cover. Have a look at that. That's the first thing that we're going to talk about. All right, I'm going to explain every single thing that you need to know to get updated with what the fuck is going on in crypto market. Watch live. Here you go. Watch me live. Boom, can't jump on, boys. There we go. Happy days. All right, we're on. Sorry, just got to do that sort of shit. What's happening? Here we go. All right, so what we're going to do is we're just going to do it old school. Kicking it old school. We're going to go through the news. I've got a bunch of Twitter posts. Basically going to save you time. So the purpose of this is for me to talk to you, give you an understanding of what everything means, where the crypto market is, where the markets are in general. And then for the nerds and people that actually want to make some money, we can wait until the end, and we'll do some bit of TA, a little bit of TA at the end. So first I'm going to start this just to warm us up. All right, here we go.
JP Morgan.
Where's the mic?
Both leveraging stable coins. Nothing's.
All right, what you see here, this is the head of strategy at Coinbase, and he presents an incredibly bullish case for Bitcoin at 87K. Not to mention Texas just bought 10 million worth. Fundamentals are stronger than ever. It's good. There's some insightful things. Let's listen to it. Only goes for a minute, and then we'll talk about what he said. Ready? Here we go. Fucking.
It's really changed since the all-time high. If we just step back and think about structurally, in fact, you can argue the news coming out about Citibank, JP Morgan, both leveraging stable coins at a huge scale. The Czechoslovakian National Bank has come out and announced they will be the first Eurozone country to purchase Bitcoin for the Treasury. Clarifying rules from the IRS. Harvard Endowment announcing they own more Bitcoin than gold. All of those things are structurally very, very positive. From the exchange point of view, we're not seeing a massive increase in open interest in our futures market. CME, you can check it yourself. I was always taught early on, a declining price market accompanied by a rapidly declining open interest means the market is breaking down structurally. People are exiting the market forever. When I look at Bitcoin, I see the number of active Bitcoin wallets roughly the same as it was 3 months ago. I see both CME and Coinbase futures open interest, again, ticking down a little bit, but not nearly in line with price direction. And so I go back to the very, very basic principle of if I like apples, I don't like them less because they're on sale. And so if you like this asset, you like it more. If you don't like this asset, if you've never liked this asset, you now have the microphone for a few months or a few weeks, we'll see how long, and enjoy that moment. Nothing's really.
All right, so I can tell you right now, when I posted it in the group that I was still buying Bitcoin at 82K, I fucking loved it at 82K. No different. What we picked up from that video just then is a few things. One, there is endless supply of good news about Bitcoin that is just constantly in your face, over and over and over, tirelessly. Doesn't sound right, but just, you're just constantly just over it, basically, because where's the bad news? Okay, bad news hits harder. Everybody loves hearing a bit of bad news. That's why go watch Channel 10, Channel 9, Channel 7, all the main broadcasting networks, and you will see that they keep you glued to the TV by showing you murders in towns that you've never even been to. So bad news gets attention. Bad news keeps you glued. Good news sends you into a lullaby. And that's what's going on with the Bitcoin, because it just gets better and better and better. And everybody's just exhausted from the good news. So if the good news is getting better, if the news is getting better and the price is getting worse, there's obviously a discrepancy, right? A deviation. Which one is the one that's going to last longer? It seems to be the good news. If that just continues, what's going to change? The bad news, the price isn't going to go, the good news isn't going to go bad because the price goes bad, but the price could go up because the good news stays up. Do you know what I mean? It's a divergence. So bad price isn't going to bring the news down. All right, you get these headlines But fundamentally, other than just like Bitcoin is going down, Bitcoin crashing, blah, blah, but there's no like fundamental bad news. Anyways, what I was getting at is news is not good news hasn't stopped at all. For a start, he's saying the open interest is staying steady, so traders are still trading. The spot market is still buying. There is one thing that I have noticed, and still it's only today, so I'm working out how true it is. But let me just fucking find it very quick. Here you go. 1.8 million Bitcoin left exchanges overnight. This is not normal. So let's just have a little look at this Crypto Quant website, which is typically very accurate. You can see here since 2023, there was over 3 million Bitcoin sitting on exchanges. So spot reserve on Bitcoin exchanges. And then after 2024, gradually decreasing. And then look, gone from 2.4 mil to 1.8 mil, so that's a 0.6 move. So basically, overnight, it's done what it took in what looks to be 6 months. Moved that much percentage in 6 months in overnight. So you've got the leverage market constantly shorting. You can see that by the funding rates, very red. Leverage market's constantly shorting. Open interest is staying relatively as per normal. So that means, the leverage traders or margin traders are all still active, shorting, spots catching bids. Sorry, thought someone was at the door. And Bitcoin is rapidly leaving exchanges. Okay, so all the Bitcoin on the exchanges is getting bought up spot, like the actual Bitcoin's getting bought up spot, taken off the exchanges, whilst the Bitcoin that is actually still on the exchanges is getting shorted by leverage traders. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just basically a demand implosion ready to happen. So, like, what happens is as the demand on the exchanges goes down, the price goes up easier, obviously, because the asset's harder to buy. Price goes up easier as the spot price goes up, and you can see right now that there's a difference with the funding rate, and there's a difference between the spot price and the leveraged price. So the spot price is, $30, $50, $60 more higher than the leverage price on most exchanges. So the spot price is leading the leverage price. All right, as the leverage price continues getting dragged up by the spot price, all the shorters, all the leverage traders, all the open interest that still exists are getting margin called liquidated, which then they have to push. Then they have to buy the asset back, buy Bitcoin back, which then pushes the price higher. So it adds more demand onto the price. So you've got spot price, basically, if you've seen Talladega Nights, it's, like old mate behind, Will Ferrell behind old mate and getting, it's the spot price leading, and then the leverage price will just rocket past it with all the liquidations that come. And then it gets, as open interest increases, the leverage price starts ramping up the spot price. And then in turn, it adds just this fucking echo bubble where spot price, all the people that were buying at spot, is now seeing the price rapidly increase faster. So they're jumping in to buy more spot at a faster rate. You see what I'm saying? So the ingredients for the price to move very fast back to 100k plus are there. Let's just fucking leave it at that, all right? It's all fucking there. It's like you got, there's a pasta, you got the mince, you got the tomato sauce, you got the cheese, you got the salt and pep, just all right there in front of you. There's no going to the shop. You want 100K. You just got to, make it. So that's what's going on. Anyways, moving on. Here's another thing that I wanted to pass on a little bit of knowledge, if I have any. It's only 8 years of doing this every day. What would I know? And what I want to share with you. Hey, what's up, Marty? What's up, Steez, man? So I just want to share a little bit of wisdom on my opinion. So this income sharks, they actually share some pretty good shit. So respect to this guy. But look, tops are where you need to be quick and move fast. This is true. This is true. Bottoms are where you can sit back, grab some popcorn and sleep on it. Yet somehow there was no sense of urgency near the top, but everyone is super urgent trying to time this bottom. It's completely backwards. So I believe fundamentally everything he said is correct and incorrect at the same time. Okay, breaking it down. I won't get too deep, but look, tops are where you need to be quick and move fast. Yes, this is true. Why is this true? Because clearly they move fast. But in saying that, depending on where you bought it, you're still going to be majority in profit unless you're trying to time the top and get out at that exact time. As you'll notice, pretty much all these top cities lit up are the head fakes, the bull traps, where it goes above a range, doesn't stay there for long, comes back down, breaks down. You know what I mean? Except for that was just a fucking blow off. But what I'm saying is tops are quick and you need to move fast, yes, but nobody knows that they're a top when they're a top. All right. And also, you are more likely to move fast because you're aware of it. Because when you're in heavy profit, what you're doing is you're looking at it a lot. You're sending it to people, you're showing people the receipts, you're saying, hey, look, oh my God, look at this, babe, check this out, I'm up. You're checking it constantly. When you're up, you're checking it until, so everybody's got this balance of hope and fear, right? So hope and fear. When your hope exceeds your fear, you hold. When your fear exceeds your hope, you sell. All right. So I have trouble selling a lot of the time because I fear no man, I fear nothing. So I have trouble with that. That's one of my weak spots. All right. My hope in that I'm going to be right, my optimism, and my hope and confidence in my plans and my strategies, always very high. So that's why I always nail these entries, as you'd see in the group. My fear. And so this is what causes people to sell, typically, whether it's selling in a loss thinking it's going to go lower or selling at a high and thinking it's going to turn around. Fear causing people to sell. So, and fear can, in that sense, can work in your favor. So if you fear at the top, at a blow off top, and you fear for it to not go any higher, then you will sell. So therefore, the fear was in your favor. So therefore, an emotion was a powerful tool to help you achieve the best result. So in that case, fear was a good quality to have. Okay, so it can work in your favor. When it doesn't work in your favor is when it's an emotion shared by the crowd. And you can typically fear has a different feeling. Okay, so fear at the top, fear at the actual top, feels like, oh my God, everyone else is going to keep making money. I'm going to regret this. The market looks like it's going to go way higher. All my friends are just starting to buy now. How can I be on the sidelines now? It's all fucking happening. That's when it feels like it's not with the crowd. And there are the times that the fear, if it still perseveres through all those things and more, the fear is actually in your favor and it's helped you. All right, so it can be a powerful tool. Back to this. I'm trying to take too long. I've got somewhere to be, but bottoms are where you can sit back, grab some popcorn and sleep on it. So I completely disagree with this as well. So bottoms are typically actually very fast. So you've got these bottoms that are relatively the exact same speed as the tops here. They're fast, right? He's talking, but he has dragged it out across the double top. He's dragged it across the low and then the higher low, right? Which we could drag it across. He could drag that out to there. He could drag it back, realistically, because I would call that whole thing a part of the top. You know, it depends on where you're going to drag it. But what he's talking about here is what you think is going to be just a higher, a lower high, just a lower high. So it's very difficult to recognize that bottom until it puts in this higher low, it changes the market structure. Therefore, it's actually very fast. And conversely to the top, where you're glued to it, the bottoms, it's the absolute complete opposite. The bottoms are where you shouldn't sit back. The bottoms are where you shouldn't grab some popcorn and you shouldn't be asleep, because the bottoms are naturally where you're not going to be watching it. Okay, so it's the exact opposite to what he's saying there. It's the bottoms are when you need to be fucking glued to it. You need to be on edge, and you need to be waiting for any sign of that being a bottom. Because he's gone and highlighted. What's he fucking highlighting this cunt? So he's gone and highlighted this. Let's just say he's gone and highlighted this, right? But low, high. Then right there, it was just technical. Well, right there, briefly, right here, right. That was a higher low for the course of a couple of days or something. So what's stopping that from being that? So you got to be fucking completely onto it. You don't know that it's going to be a bottom until it gives you that confirmation, and then you're like, bang, okay, because it starts. You're watching it very closely, and you're getting to understand where the market is at that time, and it takes time for you to be in it, watching it as it's falling, to be like, bang, that's the bottom, let's go. So, disagreed. I might write something on this thing. I don't usually get involved, but because nobody reads my shit. Yet somehow there was no sense of urgency near the top, but everyone is super urgent trying to time the bottom. That's because he's talking about everyone being super urgent trying to time the bottom when it's not the bottom. Yeah, so everyone's been super urgent trying to time the bottom, but it's not actually the bottom. Does that make sense? So there's always going to be people urgent to time the bottom until it's the actual bottom. That's when everybody's exhausted from trying to time the bottom. That's when the bottom comes in. So fundamentally what he's saying is wrong. I hope you've pulled something beneficial out of that. We shall continue. I also just want to talk about how Michael Burry closed his fund and made a blog to write out some bearish shit for $3.90 a year and instantly got 26,000 subs. Well, I mean, again, bear porn, right? Bears are literally paying $10 million a year for bear porn. OnlyFans level shit. Surely max pain in markets is up. Hang on one sec, sorry. What have I done there? Just click back. Yeah, so basically what I was just saying is just like it's across all markets, bearish behavior, bearish sentiment, bear porn. It's all very popular. It all sticks. People love it. People love to hear it. People love to hear it for so many reasons. You got liquidated at the top. You got liquidated at the dump. All right, you just want it to go down. You want everyone else to feel how you feel. That's typically how females act. You want everyone to feel how you feel. That's an emotional behavior. You want it to go lower so you can get back in at a good price, and then make it again. There's so many reasons why people prefer to see it go down, especially the longer that you've been in the market. The best cure for it clearly is to just have like spot in probably just Bitcoin, maybe a little bit of other stuff, just spot in stuff that you're certain about, and then just trade both ways. So like once I started making decent coin shorting shit, and then once I've started making decent coin longing shit, like simultaneously, it just means fuck all to me. I know in the long run that my Bitcoin holdings are going to go up, and any scarce asset on this planet is going to go up because of the debasement of the currency. That's obvious. But if you can just make equal money. I mean, look, I like shorten because shorten's quicker money typically. It fucking takes the stairs up, jumps off the edge, down. But longing just feels better. So it's two sides of the same coin. You can make equal money in leverage markets. It's good. It's all fun. It's, there's no need to just like get over. Nothing in your past like that is going to help you. All right, it's just all you gotta do is just focus on what's going on now. All right, let's have a little listen to Raoul Pal and see what bullshit he's talking today. It's gonna be fucking something about Sui probably.
And we know that the TGA is going to be drained, and the QT is going to finish, and the Chinese, and we know that the TGA is going to be drained, and the QT is going to finish, and the Chinese are increasing their balance sheet, and we got regulatory changes coming, and we got rate cuts coming, blah, 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 blah. And the ISM, the business cycle, follows that. So the next thing for the business cycle is to go higher. Business cycle going higher means we'll have money in our pockets. It goes into risk assets, and that increases the price of crypto. It's not that complicated, but nobody wants to believe it because you're looking at 5-minute charts and scratching your nuts, wondering what's going on. And we know.
Yo. Raoul Pal famously. Yep. Raoul Pal famously, says that he's never met a successful trader, right? So that's his, that's in his world. It's not for him. Obviously, he's clearly an emotional piss wreck, and he doesn't follow his own rules and strategies. Okay, so he's gone he's gone all in on he's gone fucking all in on Sui cunt. Like, who does that shit, bro? Like, come on. You know what I mean? Like, it'll go up after he capitulates. Like, he's not going to go up until he capitulates. So that's why he's a shit trader, and he doesn't want anyone else. He thinks he's the smartest bloke in the room. Clearly, if you've watched any of his videos, and look, I do like him. I like him, and he's good. He's good for the industry. But if he thinks he's the smartest bloke in the room, he doesn't want anyone else being able to trade when he can't. He's just going to say the trading's shit and it doesn't work. Trading definitely works. 100% works. All right. He's just basically saying exactly what we were saying, is there's just infinite good news. We looked at this. Here's another one. Ready? The biggest difference between the stock market and crypto market is the stock market basically goes up every day of the year, while the alt market cap of crypto has been in this same range for 5 years this February, or close to 2,000 days, more than 10 to 20% of our lives. So what we're saying from this clearly, right, is altcoins are not for long holds. Altcoins are not for long holds. Altcoins are not for long holds. Do not long hold altcoins if you want to be successfully rich long term. Do not long hold altcoins. Look, you can long hold an altcoin from here to here. You can long hold an altcoin from here to here. Okay, that's like a year max. Here to here, maybe. Here to here. A year max. If you want, there's two things that you can long hold. A business that makes profit and pays dividend. A scarce and valuable asset. That's it. Do not long hold altcoins. But do learn how to trade altcoins, because you can long, short, high leverage, 24/7, fucking make the fastest money in the world. It's a gift from the Lord, the Creator, for our generation that can't buy 5 houses for 2 sacks of potatoes. Learn how to trade. Play the long game.
And maybe cutting out.
All right, we'll see if this is. I'm interested to see whether this is just all, the hot. What do they say? Hot air out of the anus, or not. If there's some weight behind this, it'd be very interesting to see.
For the next couple of years, I think we'll substantially be cutting, and maybe cutting out completely, but we'll be cutting income tax. Could be almost completely cutting it, because the money we're taking in is going to be so large. And yet, other countries who have been ripping us off for many, many years, and many years they've just been ripping us to shreds. For the next couple of years, I think we'll substantially.
Yeah, anyways, he reckons he's going to cut income tax because the tariff revenue be hitting so good. Here's an interesting one from Peter Thiel. All right, so talking about how Bitcoin has been co-opted by BlackRock and the government. Peter Thiel is very rich, very powerful, relatively speaking. He's been on Joe Rogan before as well. He seems like a relatively decent dude, to be fair, but let's have a listen to what he's got to say. It's quite interesting if you haven't already. Okay, where are we? Fucking...
Public about is Bitcoin. And you have remained a very big bull. You have come out publicly and you said that enemy number one to Bitcoin is the sociopathic grandpa from Omaha that you described as Warren Buffett. Can you tell me what you were thinking when you said that?
It got a lot of laughs, so somehow people, it probably hit some kind of a nerve, but it was it was in a 2022 Bitcoin convention talk I gave, and there were three separate enemies. There was Jamie Dimon, Larry
Fink, who's no longer an enemy, by the way.
Yeah, he sort of shifted, but I can say some anti-Larry Fink things too. But and then there was Warren Buffett, and the rough context was my sort of political sociological analysis was the cryptocurrencies it was a revolutionary youth movement, but for them to really take over, you needed it couldn't just be a student uprising like 1968. You needed to get the rest of the society on board, and as long as the old people were going to sit on their hands, that was the big blocker for cryptocurrencies to go to the next level. And
are you still convinced?
I think it's gotten partially unlocked with the Bitcoin ETF. But then there, probably the part where I'm less convinced of is this question of the sort of ideological founding vision of Bitcoin or these cryptocurrencies as sort of a cypherpunk, crypto-anarchist, libertarian, anti-centralized government thing. This is always the line.
Isn't that what got you interested in the first place?
That's what I thought was terrific about it. And then the question is, does it really work that way, or has that thread somehow gotten lost? And so when people in the FBI tell me that they'd much rather have criminals use Bitcoin than $100 bills, it suggests that maybe it's not quite working the way it was supposed to.
Have you sold any of your Bitcoin?
I still hold some. There are all these ways I didn't buy as much as I should have, and I'm not sure it's going to go up that dramatically from here.
From here?
Yeah, I think we got the ETF edition, and I don't know who else buys it quickly from here.
Some interesting investment advice. That actually surprised me because I don't think I've heard you. I thought you were still all in.
I still have a small position. It probably still can go up some, but it's going to be a volatile, bumpy ride. And I had a dual reason. One was this sort of ideological, decentralized future of computing world that I really do believe in. Really believe would be better. And it seemed like the perfect vehicle for that for such a long time, and I am just much less convinced of that. And so
interesting.
So maybe Larry Fink with the BlackRock ETF surrendered to the forces, the anti-ESG forces, or maybe it's more like Bitcoin's been co-opted by them, and I worry it was more the latter.
Because another.
All right, there's a lot to unpack there. Won't go too deep in it, but as you know, like Bitcoin, that was the oldest, most bullshit, baseless claim there was, that Bitcoin was used for drugs. I mean, on the Silk Road it was in the early days before people worked out how to track it. But you can see literally, like, once somebody is tied to a Bitcoin wallet, then they're fucked. You can see every single transaction basically that they've ever made to somewhat extent. So there is no privacy. I mean, that's why you hear all Andrew Tate, and that's why Zcash and stuff, it's been doing well lately. People are sort of realizing, like, it isn't, Bitcoin's not are money. You know, Lightning Network hasn't worked, and so far, like more than ever, it just continues to become more like gold. They want it to be more like gold. Everybody wants it to be more like gold, other than what he's saying, the cypherpunks and everything like that. Like obviously, initially Satoshi wants it to be like a currency payment system. The fees are intense. The delay time is too much. It cannot be on its own a payment system. It needs another layer. But I mean, that's why like smart contracts like Ethereum and Solana, like potentially like like USDT, like things, and like on the Tron network, you know, instant fucking 1 cent, blah blah, like that all shit makes way more sense to be more like a currency. Bitcoin, on the other hand, just works more like a scarce store of value where you can move large amounts of money anywhere in the world without any middleman. And by large, you know, it depends on the perspective. He is a dude that's, you know, probably doesn't like Larry Fink. They're all in their own. It's like, you know, that upper class sort of that high billionaire level where they know that each other's pulling dirty tricks and this and that, and you can see like by like you know his fucking, you saw his fucking face and stuff. I mean, he is pretty shady. Like he is pretty shady like that. But like look at his like eye contact and shit. He's just like all over the shop. This dude, like he's like, what the fuck? He's wigging out. He doesn't want to say the wrong thing. He's being very careful and crafty with everything that he says. He's just like taking it easy, keeping it. He's stuttering and everything. It's just like fuck me. Like imagine being part of his business, sitting in his boardroom, and he's given like instructions for your day, and you're just like, what the fuck are you just said? Say it, come again. So what I'm getting at is, these high influential figures come and go. They change their different opinions constantly on yes, no, but again, as you already know, just watch what they do, don't watch what they say. But in saying that, I do agree with a lot of what he's saying, where the whole just like the underground movement of Bitcoin is relatively fizzled out. The institutions are here, and just something to just keep in mind is that even though the institutions are here, and then the whole like cypherpunk movement of just like, you know, the opt-out trade, Bitcoin, blah, 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 is like sort of diminishing in a way, like for a currency system, still there for an asset. Even though that's happening, it doesn't mean that the price can't go up. And he's saying that he doesn't think that there's as much jet fuel, but that's natural. You know, the market cap's doubled. When the ETF came out, it was like 50k, 60k. You know, now it reached 120k. Like the market cap's doubled. You know, is exponentially going to decrease in the volatility. He said the volatility is going to be up. He's talking about sideways ranging like this, ping, 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 bit of ping pong, instead of like extreme banana zone volatility with Bitcoin, which could happen still, but naturally as something becomes larger, it's harder to move. It's just in nearly every stage. So here's another one. Here's another thing. Martini douche. Bitcoin exchange outflows. I meant to say dude. Martini dude, sorry. Bitcoin exchange outflows just recorded one of the biggest spikes on record. Every major outflow surge like this has previously kicked off a massive leg up. So you can see here, like big outflows. This is like the same graph that we showed earlier, but this is a different one. So boom, 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 and then just massive outflows. Just like everybody just bought at 82k. Or did you? I know we did. Did you? And then just took it straight off the exchange. Just like, get the fuck out of here. That's pretty much what they were just like, get the fuck out of here. Because why would you have it on? You know, and to me, exchange outflows are whales, basically, because most retail will just leave it on there happily, man. So, you know, I'll just, you know, not bragging, but just saying like, come on. Spot entry, look at this, fantastic. Yeah, it's clear, like, you know, that's what happened. All right, so this is my account. You know, average buy 83,718, bang, right there. Bought that higher low that I was talking about, low, higher low, confirmation, had to act quick. It was a bottom. Holy shit, that's a bottom. Look at this right there. Look at that candle close. Wow. This is bottoming. I worked it out. This is a 4-hour chart. I worked it out on like a 15-minute chart, 30-minute chart. I was thinking, okay, holy shit, this is going up. Bang. You know, bang. So I'm saying, even though it says I bought there, I bought fucking more. That's what I'm saying. I bought fucking more. And, you know, like, it was obvious and quick. Anyways, whatever. Fuck you. Have a look at this. This is some, this is just something random. This is for the leverage traders out here. Ever notice how exchanges slowly deleted the liquidation calculators? They prefer you guessing. So you can get liquidation calculators everywhere, online if you look hard enough. But it's very interesting and very good to find the asset and then type in the entry price that you entered at, long or short. Type in the leverage and just get a real reality. This is something that I need to add way more into my routine. You get a reality of the chances. You know what I mean? 25x. If you are holding 25x trade at that price, you know, Kingfisher goes above and beyond with everything they do. That's why you pay for it. But it's just showing here, if you got in the 25x trade, you have a 30% chance that it'll be, or you have a 60% chance it'll be liquidated in a month. All right, so 50x. So this will change per altcoin as well. Got to keep that in mind. 25x with fucking some sort of shit meme coin, it's going to be completely different. But just to get a reality of it, right? 100x trade. This is like when I was doing those 100x trades. And we probably going to bring it back, but there was a couple of the most successful ones. You know, we turned like, I can't remember what it was. I think it was like 3 sessions. We turned $1,000 into $6,000 doing 100x trades for an hour over 3 sessions, right? And one of those was like a $2,500 gain or $3,000 gain. It was a big one. But what I did was I was just like half pissed from the whiskeys and I just fucking went to sleep with it, woke up and it was like $1,000 went to 3.5 or some shit. You'd be able to find it if you go back through my profile. But the chances of me sleeping for 8 hours and coming back after that, you know, depends on the entry and yada yada, but just relatively speaking, it's in the 90s. It's in like 94% chance I got liquidated. So just have a think about the probabilities. Again, if you're trading leverage, the higher the leverage, the better the entry. You absolutely have to nail the entry. If you're trading with a coin that's outside the top 5 and anything over 20x, or if you're trading anything big, 50x, even 30x, the entry has to be fucking superb. Literally superb. Otherwise, you're fucked. And if you realize that your entry sucked and it's still in profit, bang, close that, wait for the next one, wait for a better entry, bro. Get out. Trust me. Trust me. Here's a little bit of based shit. You can go and find that out. Bit of fucking ripping on, you know, men mainly. It looks like women, but it's men have let this happen. I've got to go actually, but you know, here's some videos to look up. What's another thing real quick? Yeah, in case you weren't convinced already about Bitcoin, this probably concern you more than convince you.
I'm excited about Bitcoin too. But I think this idea that we have a global currency that is outside of the control of any government is a super logical and important step on the tech tree. Yeah. I'm excited about Bitcoin too.
Yeah, step. I mean, see how he said step, not end. No. And here's another one. Hey, if you want to go and find something, go listen to this Andreessen. If you want to go listen to Andreessen talk about Bitcoin for 8 minutes, very powerful. Another Joe Rogan, very good video. I actually literally am late for something, but what I'm just going to show you real quick is the Bitcoin chart. Okay, so any charties that have waited long enough, let's look at this. So, you know, if you've watched any of my videos, you see I draw these things fucking ages ago. I drew this thing like you don't need much. just roughly, trend lines, just got to capture 90-something% of it, right? We're getting blue bars, like there's a big move coming. What's happening here, though, is it's grinding higher. It's grinding very higher. So where we like to see with the blue bars, low volatility, is just grinding higher. It's easy to see. You just got to stay active if you want to play this shit. I've got a long on still. We entered, I think it was, we entered 80, we entered down here. We longed, and then I added more here, wherever the blue bars are. So where, yeah, okay, all right. So yeah, I did. Yeah, I entered there on the blue bar, longed it, and then I longed again on the next blue bar, added to the position, moved the stop loss up a little bit. All right, so we're still in the long. We've taken about 50% profits, and you know, I'm getting more blue bar signals. Another big move's coming. It's spreading. Blue bars spread like a contagion. It's gone to the 2-hour chart. Is it at the 4-hour chart yet? Bigger the time frame, bigger the move. No, the 4 hours got a long way to go. 2 hours, so 2 hours blue barring. You know, stochastics pointing down. This was a large gap. Clearly, I'm not super confident about longing more right here. At the moment, it does look bullish if the price can continue higher while the stochastic resets and goes lower. That's a stochastic divergence, so that's bullish. But yeah, I mean, you know, like according to my strategy and the rules, I'm allowed to add to a position here on another blue bar, and I could, you know, we've closed half of the position, so I've got room to add, you know, bring the position up to full again here. But obviously, what's going on right now is you're pretty much, I'd be buying the buy side liquidity. You know, we took a lot of profit here. We initially had the take profit target here where this line is. I bring it down to here because it was the breakdown point of the candle. So it's very important to remember that a lot of liquidity actually rests, especially with like ICT traders and stuff like that. A lot of liquidity rests in the initial breakdown bars. Very, very common to see, you know, the breaker blocks or whatever the fuck. It's not my type, not my style, but you know, there's a lot of liquidity there, a lot of shorting goes on there. Price can get stopped by all the traders with the same idea. Steezy, up or down? Up or down? Up or down? Up or down? Up. I think up with room to go down a little bit first. Go down a little bit first, then go up. That's what I think the highest probabilities are. There's a lot of liquidity here. I think that it's dominantly short market. I think there's a fucking shitload of liquidity right there. I'm thinking something like it'll look like it's going higher, and it goes boom, and then it goes bullets, and then it goes bang, like that. That's probably pretty much what, maybe not so steep, maybe like there. That's what I think is probably going to happen. That's the highest probability in my mind. Oh, fuck, I wasn't even showing you. Look at that. There you go. That's what I think is going to happen. All right, so ranging, clearly ranging. All right, don't get caught up in the diagonals of it. This is a range, most likely going to this. You know, where's everyone putting their stop losses? Okay, so this is 15-minute charts. So every candle's a 15-minute. This goes all the way back to the middle of the day. For every long, there's a short. For every time the price moves, there's a long and a short. All right, other than spot. So boom, 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 boom. So much price movement going on. So many longs being taken. So much high leverage coming back into the market. Where are they putting their stops? They're putting it under here. They're putting it under here. They're putting it under here. Mainly probably putting it under there and putting it, you know, in here, under here, all that sort of shit. So most likely there's just too much liquidity before a higher run being able to be taken, sometimes briefly. I should have kept that there actually, fuck. Hold on. Briefly, you know how it is, like spot market holds dominant control, and then for just short bursts, the leverage market will take over. Steezy reckons long your longs, 250 incoming, Santa rally. Let's fucking go. Leave it at that. Hey, thanks for hanging around. Hey, good to see you boys. It warms the cockles of my heart seeing you boys in the chat. Thank you. I love yous. And hopefully you've made a little bit of gains from all these fucking trades that I've been posting, because I know I have. There's been fucking, these trades have been unreal over the last couple of weeks. So big gains. And is anyone still in that M? Is anyone still in this shit? Bro. Man, I fucked around and took all my profit out way too early, cunt. Are you kidding me? I had nothing left. I was literally like, I was just like, nah, shorts are done. I took all my profit. I closed the rest of the trade. Like, I took heaps of profit there, and then I just closed the rest there. I was just like, man, I fully forgot about all these fucking goals and targets that I had. I didn't send any any sell orders for whatever reason. And then I finally got what I was expecting from the get-go. Look at that. 50%. I think we had like a 20. Oh, Steezy closed there too. Made $2,000. Yeah, dog. Fucking A. Your shout dinner tomorrow. How good. Yeah. Fuck, man. That was another 50%, cunt. Are you kidding me? That's why you got to just stick to the plan. Alhamdulillah. All right. Ta-ta. Got to go. Love yous. Bye-bye. Talk soon. Bye for now. Bye-bye. Bye for now. Ta-ta. Bye-bye.